Alright guys, welcome back to another video of Amaya Explains It All, and today's guest is Bennett, aka your boy Bennett. That is his email signature. He likes to be introduced as your boy Bennett, just like that.
Yep.
Today we're going to be talking about stress and how to deal with it, how to cope, some tips, and also a little ghost experience. So tune in. Hey guys, welcome back to another video of Amaya Explains It All, and my special guest today is Bennett.
Hey everybody.
And Moose, if you guys can see Moose, she's right there. Bennett is a coworker of mine, and if you went to the Martinez Clubhouse, you know him very well.
No.
So today's main topic is stress and ghosts, because we got a ghost in Martinez. I don't know if I really believe in ghosts though, so.
I mean, I think we'll find out.
Apparently. Okay. Bennett, so for the people who don't know you, just share a little bit about yourself without going on like a tangent.
I'll try not to. So my name's Bennett. I grew up in San Diego. I've been with the Boys and Girls Club for quite some time now. Veteran of the Coast Guard, been in the Coast Guard for 15 years. I am currently attending the California Maritime Academy in Vallejo, California. And my current role is the Site Director of the Martinez Clubhouse here in Martinez.
Awesome. We really appreciate the work that you do here.
That's great to be here.
I mean, this place would crumble.
I mean, I've been trying to get in the show for a while now.
Without you,
and
honestly. So, one question I usually ask all my guests is,
okay.
What does mental health mean to you? So, like, what are your ideas? I'm not looking for like a formal definition, but.
Okay. To me, mental health is kind of everything. It kind of encompasses your overall health, because basically, if your mind's not right, even though everything else is fine, you're not going to function. If you're struggling ahead, you have a dark cloud over yourself, or you're not taking care of yourself, the rest of your life can't go on as it should. And it's something I think that really might be one of the most important things, something that's really often too overlooked.
Definitely. Right, so stress can be a big part of that, especially if you're not handling it correctly, right? So can you talk about like what stress is a little bit for people who are not clear about the definition?
Yeah, I mean, I think even if you're not clear definition, you've understood that during certain times there's a tension about or there's a pull on you, be it like a not necessarily a physical pull, but like a mental pull. Like you kind of maybe put yourself in a box a bit, where you have that pressure on you that's sometimes even self-inflicted.
Right.
And
I'll follow up with that. Right. Like so, some examples are like like you have like this big assignment coming up, and you're like trying to meet that deadline, and it's a big part of your grade, or it affects your work performance or anything like that. And sometimes even like with me, like especially in high school, I was like a big procrastinator. So like I would put things off, and then like I'm like, oh crap, I have to get this assignment done, and now I'm like stressed out, gotta stay up late, and so like you said, self-inflicted, but nonetheless stressful. So learning from that, right, I learned that maybe you shouldn't procrastinate on certain things so you can get them done.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like procrastination, that's a tough one. I think everyone's fallen into that trap before.
Just like one lesson I've learned.
Right, absolutely. That's a good example too.
What about like a stressful time for you? Like what was like a big stressor maybe for you in high school or in your early adulthood?
The easy example for me to connect with stress is just time in the military, but kind of backing away from that and the obvious stress of that would be just kind of balancing life and managing stress and all the times and people, friends, family, job, wife. I know this doesn't pertain to a lot of younger folks, but like everybody has something in their life where, you know, you have to do well in the sports team. You want to do well at your at school, but you want to show up for your parents. You want to show up for your friends, and you're trying to balance that. And trying to be everyone to everyone is always a tough task.
Yeah, I think that's big, and you have to figure out like what do you need first, and then how can you manage all of those things so that way. I mean, and you also have to face it. I think you can't be everyone to everyone, right? Like, because you're gonna end up disappointing somebody, and trying to take on that stress is just almost ridiculous because it doesn't affect them as much as it affects you, right?
Yeah, it's I like it as like a class, right? If you keep emptying your glass with things that are taken away from you, and you don't take the time to replenish yourself. Exactly. Once that glass is empty, you don't have anything to offer anymore.
Right.
And that's why it's time to find the things that help you alleviate stress and that make life easier for you.
For sure, that's why self-care is so important. What are some tips you have for dealing with stress?
Tips for stress for me, I think everybody has something that really helps them overcome. I think it's to kind of find and embrace, the activity or the action or whatever that kind of takes you to a place that kind of relieves you from that stress. For me, I'm a big water person, so anytime I'm near the water or I'm doing anything on it, it's a relief. It's just it kind of makes me take a pause and kind of think about all the positive stuff, and kind of takes me down off that.
Just like looking at it is just like zen for me, like looking at water,
like that, crashing waves.
Love it so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, and then I also look at like stresses, like you have like major like life stressors that just like consistently follow you, and then you have like things like temporary things, right? Like directions in the car, right? Like you don't know where you're going and you're trying to give somebody directions, and it's like, oh, you're stressing me out, just follow, listen to me,
right?
Or like simple things like that, or temporary things like I can't fix this right now, and it's like stressing me out, so it's just like walk away or pause, breathe,
deep breaths for sure.
It's definitely not gonna be the end of the world in that circumstance. So what about you, like when you're like backed into like a corner, right? Like it's just like gonna last for like a few minutes or hour or so when you're feeling stressful.
I think you already said it. Just take a deep breath, step away for a second, kind of get your brain screwed on right, and go back and look at it. And a lot of times it just takes a second for you, to get your emotions down and come back and be like, okay, cool. Like this isn't the end of the world, and I definitely can do this. But sometimes you get all this tension built up, and you just need to let it go. Maybe go for a run, find something to distract you, like do a quick chore, or
pause.
Yeah. Pause, take a deep breath, zone out for a second, and just try to do it again.
Right. So, with the ghost problem, my experience was upstairs in the old dance room. We were in there. It was me, Jessica, Kirsten, and I think Rebecca. Yes, because we were doing our makeup.
That's right. Yeah.
And nobody's by Kirsten's computer. She turns it off, whatever. And like all of a sudden, like Jasper's video starts to play, and we're like, what is that? Because like normally, like I'm listening to these ghost stories and I'm like, okay, like
it sounds kind of far-fetched and
coincidental. You're just mental thing, you're hearing it, and but then like being in the room in that second, I'm like, oh my god, what just happened? And then so like Jessica turns it off, and then we continue what we're doing. A few minutes later, we're just laughing, talking, and again, like some like old like country jazz song starts playing, and I'm like, now that it's creepy because the voice is like really old, and it sounds like something straight out of like a scary movie, and I'm just like, okay, let's wrap this up and go, because I'm not dealing with it.
Yeah, I'm not messing around with that either. But I've yet to experience anything weird, paranormal, or anything like that here. But I've heard a ton of stories, and I'm curious to get to the bottom of this.
Right. I mean, I've never really experienced anything like super paranormal myself. But I mean, it'll be fun and interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, for sure.
But if I get too stressed out, I'll just remember to pause, take a break, do what I gotta do.
I mean, maybe leave,
Right.
If it's
go home.
something, that's, you're not comfortable with.
Exactly. So, that's all I got. What else you got?
Wow, just thought like that, huh?
Yeah. Hot seat.
No, I mean, having experiences and going through life, and there's a ton of ups and downs, and you know, it's a life lesson that people probably learn too late, is that you have to take care of yourself, and taking care of yourself isn't selfish
at all.
It's something that everyone needs to do to order to be successful and operate at the level they want to.
Right. What about what you told me earlier about like how sometimes stress is like a good thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, one of the things that happens with stress is, you know, your heart rate goes up a little bit. You become a little bit more hyper focused. And say, for instance, an example, like, you know, you're in a tough basketball game. You know, it's coming down to the end, and that stress of having to perform gives you that extra edge, right? But once that goes over the edge and it's no longer manageable stress, that's when problems happen, and that's more for life. But you can go, you know, start experiencing things like anxiety, and depression, and then, you know, like from those stem other awful things that you just got to make sure that you're aware of. And the biggest thing that I would tell everybody is always look out for your buddies, because everyone you'll learn in life is going through something you know nothing about. And sometimes it's hard to be patient with people.
Yeah.
But everybody's got their own battles.
Wow, that was a really good one. Yeah. Be patient with your buddies.
Yep. Friends, pals, you know. Homies, things of that nature. But yeah.
I don't even think people say homies anymore.
I mean, I may.
Okay. All right.
I could speak to some of my time a little bit in the military. If I can try to think of a really good story that minimizes stress. Just a little context, stuff that I've done in my past in the military. I do a lot of, I drive a boat driver by training for the United States Coast Guard. And I've been doing that for about 15 years. And one of the missions that we do escorts of aircraft carriers, submarines, search and rescue,
cool.
You know, just law enforcement type missions.
That's awesome.
That always have a little bit of edge to them, because, you know, every time you go on the boat, you never know what you're going to get into.
Yeah.
And a lot of that, like, I've had nights where I've been out all night searching for people.
Yeah.
And, you know, you come back and you're just exhausted and drained from, you know, trying to be vigilant and, you know, trying to stay focused the entire time. And that's where, like, that stress like benefits you, right? Because, like, you want to complete the mission and it gives you a little edge.
Yeah.
But once you come back and, like, you're so focused for the entire time, you come back and you just crash.
Yes.
And that's when you, like, that's the recovery time. That's when it's, like, really important.
Right. So I did, like, I dug into it a little bit deeper, and some of these things, like, I already know as well. But I was like, what does the internet have to say about dealing or coping with stress? And so I found a couple, like, things, like, of course, I already said, like, take a deep breath, or, you know, like, stepping away if you can, and, like, looking at the situation. But problem solving is one that really kept coming up, and it's not one, like, I really necessarily just, like, really thought about. But one thing I think with dealing with stress is, like, if you problem solve the issue, you can alleviate some of that stress, right? So it's like, well, what is my plan of action here? Like, what am I gonna do to make this situation better or work for me?
Like breaking it down. Like,
exactly.
Like it's not looking at one big whole thing, but break it down to chunks, like manageable things that you can complete.
Right. Okay. And I think that goes to, like, things that I can control and things that I cannot control, right?
Yeah.
Like, what is something I can control, because that's gonna make me feel better. But also acknowledging these are the things I cannot control about the situation, and then if I can't control it, I don't need to be worried about it.
Right. Yeah. Just kind of get those external factors you can't control, and sometimes it's hard to look past those. But like, when it's something you can't control, you just gotta, harder said than done, but make the best of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know, like, especially like now with, you know, COVID, or like a couple weeks ago when it first started and everything being so new. I mean, I guess this video should have been a little bit sooner, but
stress is ongoing. It's
right.
all around us.
And with COVID, like, with it being so new, and like even like my grandparents or other people saying, like, wow, I've never experienced anything like this. I've never seen something like this before. And like people, like, really almost thinking it's the end of the world. And like now, like 2 months in, and we're like, okay, we're okay.
Right.
I mean, even though, like, you know, with, like, there are deaths and there are people getting really sick, but also, like, you know, we're going to get through this, we're going to take care of ourselves, think of solutions, right? Like, if we focus on the problem, it doesn't really get us as far if we can focus on the solution. So what can I do, right? Like I wash my hands, right? I'm making sure I'm going out and wearing a mask, and I'm social distancing. So I think that will help a lot with stress.
Making sure that you're doing your part and trying to make sure you're alleviating any chance that you're going to get anything.
Exactly, or pass it on. And so yeah, I mean, anything you want to chime in with like stress and COVID or anything like that?
I mean, I'm definitely rocking my COVID facial hair and COVID lack of barbershops open right now look.
You cut your own hair.
But it's a little bit.
Don't let him fool you.
A little
he
bit
can cut
unkept.
his own hair.
Yeah. But otherwise, just like, those kind of tips and tricks we covered, it's nobody manages stress the same way as everybody else, right? Some people are a lot better than others, and that's just kind of natural ability.
And just be understanding of that too, right?
Evaluate yourself.
Yes. And then like sometimes people can come off like very rude or something in like a stressful situation, and I mean, not to necessarily excuse them for being rude, but also understanding like, whoa, they were stressed out. Maybe I won't take it as personal, but like maybe I'll address it at another time about how they made me feel.
That's a great saying for this.
Bennett and his sayings.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Get curious before you get furious.
Wow, that's actually a good one.
Because
you say it a lot though.
Yeah, I learned it earlier this year, but it makes a lot of sense. Like, kind of stop, pause, reevaluate what's going on before you start getting mad about things, because you know there could be factors that you're not aware of or what's going on. What I said was probably profound and really resonated with a lot of people.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Bennett is king for profound little quotes and sayings. You just gotta catch them on a good day.
Yeah, that's it.
One question that my friend / coworker, even though he says we're not friends, I had to put that out there. Wanted me to ask, it is accurate, is Bennett, how are you such an amazing person? I'm gonna say that again. How are you such an amazing person?
I like to...
All the time.
Yeah. I would... that's a tough one. I think it's just, hard work, dedication, a little bit of
Are you quoting nature, hustle?
Nurture. It's something I wish I could explain, but I don't think it's something that, a lot of people can comprehend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So what are your secrets to being such this profound individual?
Just patience, kind of coming down, like not being afraid to be yourself, and just be able to resonate and kind of live in the moment, and not intimidate people.
That was actually good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Than the how are you such an amazing person answer. Okay, so I wrap up most of my interviews with 2 questions. Also, were you stressed? Were you stressed before you came into this interview?
A little bit. This is
tense.
I've been trying to get on the show for since it started.
Yeah.
And I think it was
begging.
It came down from the top that you had to interview me.
Yeah.
Which is what finally happened. There's definitely an element to it, because I'm not sure where to look for what camera, where to talk, and it's unfamiliar with me, so obviously a little bit heightened.
Yep.
But when you start going and you get past that and you start realizing that I might look a little awkward, or
you got cut from James's video.
I did. I got cut from the last video, so
but it's not getting cut from this video because he's a main.
Unless you're doing the intro, just the intro.
Right.
Then I got a chance.
He's the meat of it.
I got a shot for sure.
But you are definitely the duo to the dynamic duo.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm the dynamic.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
You said you had 2 more questions for me.
Yes. Okay. I like to ask my guest, so 2 things.
Sure.
What's on your playlist right now? Like, what are you listening to? And what are you watching on Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, or TV, whatever platform? I normally go with Netflix because Netflix is popular, but...
All right. I'm going to say for the watching TV thing, I'm hurting for sports right now, real bad. And I have trouble going back and watching reruns of stuff, because
You know the outcome.
You know, you basically know the outcome,
Yeah.
kind of like the major events. But so, like, you know, I'm starting to get into Korean baseball and the Bundesliga, which is a German soccer league.
Wow.
Yeah. And, you know, even in my car before, I listen a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I don't say listen to everything. I'm not, you know, throwing out the polka
Yeah.
on the radio or anything. But, you know, like, I have my Spotify algorithm does no idea what to play for me because it's just, you look
All
at my
over the
playlist,
place.
it's just everything, yeah.
Okay, so give us an artist.
An artist? An
Or
artist.
like, what was the last like good song you heard? You're like jamming in your car. Come on, think of something.
I mean, I was listening today. It was what's the name of it? Wow. All right. It's Dilated Peoples. Can't remember the name of the song, but it's my jam right now.
Okay.
It has been for at least the last couple hours. So.
There you go.
It's, you know, it goes day by day. But I am a serial repeater of music. Like if I find cool songs I like, I'll play them for days.
Yeah,
And
I'm the same way.
yeah.
And then I'm like sick of them, and then I'll play them a little bit later and fall in love again. So
Yeah, you need a little break.
yes,
Just like stress.
listening to music,
Yep.
good stress reliever.
That's a great one, for sure. Find that place. Find your happy place.
I
Sounds
like-
cliche and dumb, but
Yeah.
it works.
I like nature sounds too, like water, the rainforest, like your typical nature sounds.
Yeah, for sure.
But music definitely, you know, just like jam out, go into like a little different place
Yeah,
or whatever, you know, floats your boat.
there you go.
There you go.
Yeah,
Coast
what
Guard.
reference? Yeah,
There you go.
I resonate with that.
A lot. All right. Thank you for all your time
It's my
and
absolute pleasure.
right, because I know you know you're very busy, and it was almost impossible to schedule you in
It's
for
been,
today, but
sought
we made
after.
it happen.
Sought after commodity.
Yes.
Yeah, hard booking.
Who are you interviewing with next week? Like Kelly Clarkson or
We have a few interested suitors. We haven't.
Dr.
We're
Phil,
just trying to
Wendy Williams,
iron out the contracts. You know,
The
it's a
Real.
little messy. There's a little bit of bidding war going on.
Yeah. Well, I understand. So thank you for fitting me into your schedule.
My pleasure.
This was fun, and if you guys want to see more videos with Bennett, aka the dynamic duo, because he is boring by himself, like this video, and you can always send me an email with parent permission. Bye.
Take care.
Take care.